So I recently went on a trip to South Carolina with my girlfriend, and while we were down there at the beach, I wanted to film some content for one of my upcoming song releases, and I thought having the beachy location would fit really well with the song's vibe and just all of that stuff. Unfortunately though, we flew down there, and as you guys all know, the hassles of flying with guitars and the fears that come with it, and just simply the price that they charge is amazing. So I was trying to find another option, something else I could do. And that's when I found the Journey Instruments puddle jumper. Now, it doesn't look like much in the case, but let me tell you, this thing is something special. So, as you can see in the unboxing, it's quite a unique design. The neck snaps off, and it's a lot to kind of get a hold of right off the rip. I mean, I watched a couple videos beforehand just to make sure I wasn't going to break anything, but it's a little daunting, but once you do it a time or two, it's second nature already. Let me tell you some of the amazing things I found out while I had this guitar down there. First of all, the design is incredible. A travel guitar can become very gimmicky very quickly, and they kept true to the actual guitar feeling without making it feel like a toy, but also making it super duper portable. And it's incredible how they're able to use this mechanism here, if you can see. This is the little clip that clips into this divot on the back of the neck to kind of lock it into place. And then this thread here is where this screws in down here so that you can tighten it. And they say it changes the action. I mean, the actual tightening of it doesn't really drop the strings as much as they probably need. I'll touch on that a little bit more later. But as you can see, it's a very simple motion. It's just a little scary at first. You kind of set it on your lap and you lock this here. And then what I like to do is take my elbow, kind of brace the back here, bring it up here until it clicks in. And then you kind of fiddle with this little screw mechanism until you kind of feel it threading in. And then you tighten it. And some people say you can actually put it between your knees and kind of use a little bit of force, counter force here. Not too much, you don't want to snap it, but just to get that extra tighten. It does kind of bring the strings down a little bit, but like I said, not a huge amount. Let me set this aside. Another one of the big pros about this that I touched on is just it feels like an actual guitar. I mean, obviously it's a little bit smaller and it's a different scale length, and they had to cut some corners with laminate press wood and things like that, but the experience of playing it isn't like playing a cheap little like thrift shop guitar you find, or a plastic guitar. You know what I'm saying? It feels true to the guitar experience. You're just limited in some ways, but that's a small price to pay for the immense portability that comes with this. And honestly, it doesn't sound too bad. It sounds, it's not gonna be studio quality, but sometimes there's a nice sense to those cheaper guitars. I mean, one of my favorite guitars for this sound is a cheap Fender that my dad had in college, and he beat the hell out of it. I don't know how it survived. It was probably 80 bucks back then. And this thing, I'm telling you, there's a certain essence to those cheaper guitars that they have. So honestly, great experience. The only cons that I had with it were, like I said, the action's a little bit high, but luckily, as you can see, the saddle is if you can kind of see that in the focus, the saddle has a little bit of room to work with. So I think maybe I'll try and sand that down. Only thing is, I'm not sure how that'll mess with the tension, because the strings rely on a good amount of tension to be able to hold the neck in place and everything. So I'll have to kind of mess around with that and see if it's worth doing. But that's the only really big con that it has. Other than the fact that I'm just afraid to break it, because it is kind of a terrifying motion, but ultimately I would think that it feels solid in the right places, and I'm curious to see how many times taking it off and putting it back on the neck it can take, but I think it's pretty good. I'm sure they've tested it. The reason I want to make this video is because there's so much crap out there that people are trying to sell that doesn't ultimately serve your purpose the best that it could. They just try and grab your attention and make the most money off the cheapest shit they can. And like I said, the materials in this aren't top-notch, solid wood, all of that stuff, but for what it is, it's a $400 travel guitar that literally folds into itself and you can take it anywhere. And this bag was designed specifically for airlines. It can definitely fit in the overhead container, but I think this one might have even been able to fit under the seat, was their design. So that that's like the biggest thing. I mean, if you have a car and you're driving, you can take whatever you want. But even if you're pressed for space, you can take this. This is probably something I'm gonna keep in my trunk. I'll have it folded up and it'll be ready whenever I'm ready. And I can just rely on the fact that it's gonna be there, it's gonna be good, and it's gonna be a vessel to get whatever sporadic ideas come into my head and try and get them out. And that's kind of what this is. It's a tool, but it's definitely worth checking out. If you're somebody that finds yourself in a situation that you kind of always need to have a guitar with you, or you know, your inspiration hits you every time you're anywhere but with your guitars. I mean, this, like, for me, I'm all over the place all the time, and I don't know why I would ever have an excuse now to not have a guitar having this. It's incredible, and it is an amazing tool. So Journey Instruments, good job, really, because like I said, this is not an easy thing to do, and they did a phenomenal job. And the cool thing is they have other models that are a little more solid wood, and like they have a Koa model, and some of them even have built-in electronics. You can really slim down your travel gigging rig, but I didn't really want to spend the money. It definitely would be worth it now that I know, but having been my first one and being in the financial situation I'm in, I really didn't want to splurge that much. But maybe eventually I'd love to, because seriously, this is good enough I'd buy it again. So I hope that helps you guys. Seriously, if you're looking for a travel guitar or anything to just help take your music other places, because we all know how much of a pain in the ass guitars can be to travel with, this is the place to go. Journey Instruments, Puddle Jumper, or any of them, I don't believe you could miss having tried this. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope that helps. Hope you can weed through the bullshit out there and find this video, because truly, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. This is amazing. So check it out. I'll leave a link to their website in the description, and I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope this might be able to help your journey, because it certainly helped mine, and it's only been a week. So I'll see you guys soon.